Hello all of you wonderful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and I am here today to spread the good words that overflow from my bubbling brain pot and get crispy on the workshop counter. I don't know where I'm going with this, as I finally just discovered the answer to why we are here, what our purpose is in the universe, and how to ascend to the next level, and I'm going to share it with you today for free on YouTube. You see, the answer is... sorry, I'm just getting a call in a minute. I realise it's a bit unprofessional. Hello? What? No, I am not Mr. Clean UK version. Oh, screw you. I see what you're doing. Good day, sir. Right, well, sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yes, pranking people in video games. It's something that brings out the best and worst of people. It encourages scoundrels among us to think outside the box and to humiliate and fool others. And for those on the receiving end, they will likely end up leaving a lasting impression of just how trust is a delicate thing indeed. Just look at all the Dark Souls games as evidence of this. However, today we're going to be talking about prank callers, about people who for some reason or another just love to wind you up over the phone. So let's dial a dickhead, which is a brilliant reference to my series These Things Suck, which you can catch here on YouTube, and have some fun, as I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 infuriating video game prank callers. Number 8, nice slice, bruh. Pizza Frenzy. Before researching this list, I had never heard of Pizza Frenzy, and to be honest, after looking at its incredibly quick gameplay and its frantic barrage of colours, sounds and slices, I'm actually glad, because I feel that my reaction speeds would have never been high enough to get good at this game, and I'd also have an anger-induced heart attack from trying to deal with all of these bloody prank callers. Now, the aim of this game is simple. Make the best pizza in town and make sure it gets to the customers quick sharp. You can offer a variety of toppings for your pies, but at the end of the day, as long as they reach the hungry person on the other end of the phone piping hot, it doesn't matter if you've, I don't know, chucked a pineapple on there or even French fries. I don't judge. However, there are some out there that do not want the good name of Julesy Jules's Party Pies to succeed and will prank call the business in order to place fake orders. And it's likely that you'll click on a few of these bothersome jokesters because of just how quickly you'll be clicking to accept orders. Doing so means that you'll lose credibility for your pizza cafe and you won't get a dime for your troubles. And things will only escalate towards the end of the game, in which tens upon tens of fake calls will come through trying to make you part way with your dough in both senses of the word. And to cap it off, none of them even use a funny name. Come on. Number 7, Shenmue 1 and 2. Shenmue! I will never say it any other way. One of the all-time strangest games that I've ever played. A title that manages to be in instances engaging and action-packed, and then at other times as slow as molasses as you watch a man wandering down a street and collect toys from machines. I guess in this sense, it's a series which captures life in the full colour wheel of the excitement and boredom that comes from being alive. I mean, I personally have less murdered family members and more duck racing in my life, but the rest of it is pretty close. And in fact, this blur between reality and video games comes to a head with the re-release of the first and second games, as players soon found out that all of the phone numbers in the game now exist without the final digit, and obviously began asking why. Well, it turns out that there was a very simple and practical reason for this, as the numbers shown in the original 2 games were actually in use by residents of the area of which the game was based. Therefore, inadvertently, the developers had provided a list of people to phone up and berate for the game taking so long to get a sequel or otherwise prank. A lot of games avoid using real-world phone numbers for this exact reason, but Shenmue, being the dedicated soul that it was, decided that just some poor old families would have to deal with the drive-by dialers who found their numbers in the game. Number 6, Otis being a prick. Dead Rising. Swinging wildly from one instance of people accidentally phoning real-life numbers to a person who you would never want calling you in real life and will always send to voicemail, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Otis Washington from Dead Rising. Now here's the thing, I absolutely adore the Dead Rising franchise, except some of Dead Rising 3 and nearly all of Dead Rising 4, but still, there's something so amazingly enchanting about the overall experience. It's a tense race against time that also manages to lean so heavily on the stupid and over-the-top spectacle that you will find yourself laughing as much as you will be swearing at the survivors for not using an ounce of brain power to avoid the ravenous hordes. In fact, juggling their well-being, a zombie outbreak, and a ton of the living who have gone rogue is so intense that the last thing that you want to do is speak to old Otis, who gets in touch to tell you about goings-on in the rest of the mall. It's like, can you not see that I am busy trying not to get munched on? But does the man listen? Of course not, and will actually chastise you for hanging up on him, thus making his messages both untimely, annoying, and guilt-ridden as well. Well, at least he passed on before he had to see what they did to Frank in Dead Rising 4, so I guess that's something. Number 5, The Pizza Guy. Blair Witch. The Blair Witch films are a truly terrifying concept, mainly because they prey on the sense of being completely lost in a foreign environment. And now they've got a brand new game to go and instill you with even more piss-pants fun. However, if you need a little break from the horror, you can always grab Ellis Lynch's phone out of his pocket and mess around with a few games of Snake, or if you're feeling particularly mean-spirited, then you can prank call Donnie's Pizza in order to get some rather humorous dialogue and also net yourself an achievement. By bothering the poor employee enough, you'll get him to breaking point, upon which he'll tell you to pizza off, and then later, if you still don't order a slice, he says that he'll find you and shove a pizza up your ass. Now, here's the thing, hear me out for a second. Depending on how vitriolic his rage is, this might actually prove useful to Ellis down the line, as if he is lost in the wilderness and then has a pizza guy ride up to deliver a dough-based decking, there's a chance of following him back to civilization. I know, it is a slim chance, but hey, I think we should take what we could get. Number 4, prank calling the Citadel. Mass Effect. One of the most impressive things about the Mass Effect series is that for almost the entire experience, choices matter no matter how small, and weight and consequence is applied to them. You could choose to play the series as a straight-laced iteration of Shepard, or go down and dirty as a rogue with a win-at-all-costs mentality. And playing as this renegade version of the Normandy captain provided some of the most enjoyable reactions and statements in the entire franchise, from dropping people off buildings to knocking out reporters, all the way to acting like an ass to the council across the entire series through the medium of the holodeck. Here, Shepard could not only end the calls early, which would prompt an immediate chastising from the council next time they spoke, but best of all, you could get Joker to keep hailing them and then hang up on them straight away. There's a lot to be said about a captain that decides to call and drop while the entire fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance, and you know what? I'm pretty sure that none of what would be said would be pleasant. And you know what? Shout out to the fact that they continued this running gag throughout, and that Joker would even comment in Mass Effect 3 that you should dial up the council and then hang up, just like old times. Number 3, We Can't Help You. Silent Hill's Shattered Memories. If you ever found yourself unlucky enough to wind up in the foggy fright fest that is the town of Silent Hills, you may well be tempted to cry out for help whenever and wherever you can. You might not like who answers the call, but you can certainly try. However, as we detailed before in the Blair Witch entry, technology has moved on from payphones and dial tones, and in Silent Hill's Shattered Memories, you're actively encouraged to use Harry Mason's mobile phone to call numbers for clues to advance the plot. In this reimagining of the first game in the series, you'll find numbers posted everywhere, from pin boards to billboards, and dialing each will usually result in a depressing realization that you are indeed desperately alone in this haunted town. However, the game doesn't just pull the whole creepy noise gimmick that could have so easily been recycled again and again, and instead turns Harry into the biggest accidental prank caller in the world. For example, you can get shouted at by the police if you repeatedly dial 911. You can harass Mr. Gordon to the point that you're now met with a message that officials are monitoring the call line. And the twist here is that while you can indeed connect to calls outside of the town, Harry is prevented from actually speaking to them, making him an accidental prankster. And this is somewhat inverted if you dial a secret number that actually connects you to Konami's helpline, because here, the woman on the other end informs you that as you're in Silent Hills, that you're beyond her help. Konami refusing to help Silent Hills. Who could have seen that coming? Number 2, explosive finish, GTA 5. If there's one thing the Grand Theft Auto series loves doing, it is dialing up situations to 11. When even a simple mission in GTA 5 sees you racing across the city in a boosted car being dogged by police, then just imagine the other end of the scale. And one of the more bizarre and rather horrible acts that you can take part in revolves around a simple prank call and some rather explosive results. In the mission Life Invader, which is also the first mission you'll conduct for Lester in order to learn about how to influence the stock markets in the game, you're tasked with implanting a device device inside a prototype Life Invader phone. With the job complete, you're free to go home and watch the unveiling of this new tech on TV. And it's here where things can get nasty, as you can dial a number that you are given, which will not only derail the speech, but also decapitate the speaker as the phone explodes, turning what Michael thought would be a simple prank into a deadly example of a joke gone too far. It's a mess. But then again, when you hear about what the speaker was talking about in terms of an underage labour force, maybe it's better that he's not head of the company anymore, or for that matter, has any head at all. And number 1, ATM machine prank. Watch Dogs 2. Now technically, this isn't a phone call prank in the traditional sense, but my god, when you see what you can do with a phone in Watch Dogs 2, you won't care about the technicalities, as this is utterly hilarious. In the side mission, Bottom Dollar, you're given the opportunity to use your phone to hack into ATM machines to enact all sorts of mischief on unsuspecting users. You're given the choice to comply with their requests or err on the side of naughtiness and do things such as donating all of their money to others, deleting their account, or even trapping them inside the building and calling the police. It's a pretty extreme form of pranking, and you might be sitting there thinking that this is going a bit too far, but trust me, every single person who comes in through those doors has a dark secret or horrible character trait. So don't feel too bad about giving their not so hard-earned cash to others. After all, people loved Robin Hood, so why not do some Robin for good and divert some funds to those more deserving? Just don't let them catch you, as they might not be so willing to forgive you for being an utter pranker. And there we go, those were 8 infuriating video game prank callers. Aren't they hilarious? I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and please let me know down below what other examples you might have included, because I might do a commenters edition of this further down the line. And that's it, that's the end of the thing. There's nothing else to talk about at all. There's nothing else, no gimmicks to get over at all, is there? Not at all. Oh, what's that? You thought I'd forgotten the One Bullet joke? Oh, I wouldn't do that to you. That'd be a horrible prank, wouldn't it? Anyway, my friends, I hope that you are well. I hope that you are treating yourself as fairly as you possibly can, both mentally and physically, because you know what? It is very easy for our own minds to play pranks on us. This I know for sure. But just remember, you can take a step back from situations that cause you stress. You can ask for help, and evaluating things in terms of things you can control and things you can't may help you set things up for further success down the line. I wish you the best, and remember, you are not alone in any of this. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. And if you'd like to follow me further on things that I do outside of this office, then please swing by Live and Let's Dice. It's a board game channel that I run outside and just get to play board games with friends, mainly Warhammer. Go Space Wolves. As always, you have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.